saw that time.
I bet, sure.
I wish I'd bought that years ago, and probably could have.
Well, we used it for 5 or 6 years, building boats, and had a fire in there.
Well, that's what killed that bothered Norman. He was afraid of losing his house.
Yeah.
How'd the fire start? Resin?
We had a fire in every building that we ever built boats in.
Yeah. You know, one day I was up the street.
But never lost the building.
But the other day, one day I was up the street years ago, and Bibbs August was running that building number 28. And they finished a big land range. I had a lot of resin left over. And I said, Bibbs, you can't just leave that resin in a pot here. Get it out of here. He said, oh, don't worry about that. So I had to put it down the waterfront. And I went home to change clothes to go to something. When I drove by, the flames are coming right out of this barrel, you know, the exit things here.
If it's too hot, yeah.
It's dangerous.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was working on my boat after hearing all your stories, and that's a common thing I hear from the boat builders, the resin fires.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's a chain reaction. It heats up, and that heats the fire more.
Yeah.
And then
I was doing some spot repairs, and I was using the West system. For small repairs, I like using the West because, you know, the mini pumps, you get the right ratio. Well, my mini pump on my hardener was not spitting out right, so I was trying to do it by eye, like, you know, get a little type stuff. So I'm mixing it, and all of a sudden, and I'm under a cover. I've got a fair cloud cover on my boat I'm working under. All of a sudden, smoke starts coming out of my little mixing cup, and I'm like, okay. So I go over to the opening, and I just throw it out into the road. Yeah. It started getting hot in my hand. It melted the plastic container. And I'm like, okay, I'm not having one of these. And it was just a little bit of resin.
Well, we kept a guy on Franklin Street cleaning up, but he was a watchman as well. So there was someone there all night long.
Yep.
Because we so feared the flames.
I figured I'd send paper copies to Dieter too.
I did send him, emailed it to him, and I got an email response from him, by the way. So Judy, his person that comes in once a
Okay.
week, I believe, is taking care of that.
So what I'm giving them is the overall schedule, the tentative schedule for Friday, and your menu items.
And next time we talk to Dieter, we want to let him know that we found his boat,
Yeah.
and it's coming, and he's going welcome right along.
Yeah. Now, what's the guy's name again that bought it? I know he's excited about owning Dieter's boat.
Right.
So. Yeah, Dieter sold his boat this last year, and we've got the guy who bought Dieter's 35.5.
Yeah.
And Dieter was telling us he bought his 35.5 unfinished on the inside. And he did the
he bought
interior.
it in pieces.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah. We just, you know, did a favor and charged him cost or something. And he got a hull and he got a deck and a headliner, I guess, and took it to Marblehead
Yep.
and put it together.
He showed us the spot. He assembled his boat. And
What was it in the old Ted Hood yard?
yep, in Little Harbor. Yards.
Little Harbor,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep, right outside. So his window, he pointed out, you know, I had that he had the third-story window looking right out onto the boatyard.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he could look out his window and look at where he was putting his boat together.
Did he work outside on it?
Did he say he put
I
up
think
a
he had a
temporary
shed or something.
temporary shed?
He did all the woodwork himself, I guess, in the interior.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he was a clever builder.
Yeah. It's something seeing his work. Yeah, I've seen copies of the Bristol prints, and they're always mimeograph copies. It's something seeing the original drawings because they're all in pencil, and you never see like pencil drawings.
Yeah.
And you know, you look and like here's some little erasure where he changed something, or you know, after he made the prints for you, somebody might have asked him, you know, I want to change the companionway, you know, and paid him to come up with another design. And over on the side, he'll have the alternate companionway that you never see on the prints.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see his prints. And he said
when I
he-
first met him, he was standing up at a drawing table. He
Yep.
spent all day standing,
Yep.
as was typical. I had a class at school, college, drawing, mechanical drawing. He stood there. Well, he did, and he was a young guy. It must have been the year after he got here.
Take your coffee, and I'll be right
Thank you
back.
very much.
Fine, I'll be right back. Thank you, sure.
You want anything yet, Matt?
Okay.
I had my for the day.
This was the other day, I went down to, you know O.L. Pitts, don't you?
Who?
O.L. Pitts from Fort Worth. We went to his 100th birthday. And down in Fort Worth, I forget.
Yeah, now he was still set up to stand at his drawing table.
Yeah.
He has it right in his house, and Marge was saying it used to be her office until he took it over and kicked her out.
Lost your eyes, huh?
There they are. Getting old is hard.
But pretty much, we got from most naval architects the hull and the deck, and we worked out the interiors, no matter what they
Yep.
might have had in mind. It sort of developed as we built the prototypes, and after that, and over the years, we made changes, of course.
That's what he said. He said, yeah, he drew the lines and some detail, but as far as layup, construction techniques, that was all you.
Yeah. Well, Ted, I think, coached him as to the thoughts he had as far as the designs were.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come down, not every boat, but quite often, when we first launched a boat, and go out, and then they would stand and talk to one another. I don't know about what, but they'd look at the waves coming off the stern, things like that. And things developed. Dieter came to the reunion we had in the 80s with his boat that he finished and sailed in the race. And his hair had turned sort of white at the time. White now, I guess.
How old would he be?
Dieter? Oh, we're guessing 86 maybe.
Oh, that much.
I took some video when we were at his house, and it's on YouTube. I'll send you guys the link so you can review. I took about a half an hour worth of video. So I'll send you guys the link so you can pre-see him. He's very excited about coming.
Yeah.
He and Marge will be here Saturday, coming Saturday. And actually they're looking for a place. Do you guys recommend a place for them to stay overnight?
Well, the Wolf Inn would be good down at
The Wolf Inn, okay. Right down there
It's
at
all
the pier.
been renovated now, nice place to stay, and very good.
There are other homes available. My son Josh, lives up in Toronto. He's coming today, actually. He's on his way from Boston now. And he found a place up here on Wood Street, and what's the one?
B&B sort of thing?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a house. But what's the street? This is Burnside here. The next one over is
Pitton Street,
yeah, Burton Street.
on there too?
That runs up to Wood.
That runs up to Wood,
Yeah,
yes.
So there are homes around that.
Okay.
If
Well, that
he
would be
wants
a nice way to do it if you can line those up, yeah.
Right now, they're only planning on coming on Saturday.
Yeah,
Staying Saturday night, because it's gonna be a late night with the dinner.
yeah.
And they basically asked if they were gonna come for one day, which day should they come, and I think we all agreed Saturday with the main dinner.
Can you just remind us of the sequence of the program?
Yes, sir. So, I printed these out for you.
Okay, great.
The first one, I got a copy for you. You know this in your head.
Starts
This is actually his
Thursday, Friday,
document.
Saturday, and Sunday, okay.
Right.
So Thursday starts sign in at noon, at the Bristol Yacht Club.
These are good dates, by the way, they're not race dates, and it's before the 4th of July, so it's
My
We
understanding-
specifically planned it. with
Actually,
the-
my understanding is that you're busy Friday night at the Boston Yacht Club, the pre-4th of July meeting, dinner or something like that you guys usually have?
sometimes we do, yes.
So we planned around that,
Yeah, good.
in case you are.
No, we sat down, originally looked at what was going on for Bermuda races and other events. Then when we
Yeah, right,
first
you missed that, is good.
planned with Dyer, he confirmed that we picked a good weekend. It was before the 4th of July. Everybody had told us stay away from the 4th.
It's good you got that.
So, And
located
it's
early.
late enough, people should have their boats in, it's early enough, the weather should be good.
Some schools are just ending. In fact, I got one guy in Canada that says the schools still go to the end of June.
So,
Barbecue.
we set up for our Thursday, the sign-ins to start at the Bristol Yacht Club, and, you know, this will just be registration check-in, really. People will be registered ahead of time, we'll know who's coming. They might add some events last minute if we have the availability. Then we're gonna have a reception, at Bristol Yacht Club starting at 4.
Yeah.
4-ish.
Casual, early evening.
Now,
We have heard from Charlie.
What day is that?
Thursday.
That's Thursday, the 23rd.
Oh, so that's 4 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For a
Oh, I
couple
see,
hours.
right, yeah, 4 p.m.
You guys
Would
could,
you say what,
We
Charlie?
heard from Charlie that he plans to make the reception Thursday night. But that's probably the only availability, I think.
Yeah, he said he's only gonna be on for one day.
His wife's in the wedding that weekend, I believe, and I think that conflicts with the.
His wife, yeah.
If he,
And his brother.
Okay.
His brother is marrying his girlfriend.
okay,
His brother's a dentist, yeah.
The brother's a dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John,
He seemed like a very
yeah,
good
he
guy.
just graduated. He's working with his dad.
Yeah, and probably gonna.
And he lives, you know, on Burton Street,
Yes,
and
yeah.
where Charlie used to live.
Well, where's Charlie moved to?
It's church, and the next one, Brighton, is it?
Bradford, probably? Oh,
No,
State Street? Union Street?
no, between Union and Church, there's one little street.
Byfield,
Byfield, yeah. Hope Monahan used to live there.
yeah, okay,
And Joey still lives right next door to where Charlie lives.
okay.
They've had it about a year. Baby now.
They
is
do.
there.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
so of course, if his schedule changes and he just wants to drop in at anything, you know, he's more than welcome anywhere.
and if you
Well,
can't,
he's busy.
if you
I
can't-
understand.
He was down to St. Bart's last week. And
I raced around the
have you
island.
raced there?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, it's a great place, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrific. I used to go there a lot. I used to go there every winter. I haven't been there this winter, but it's a wonderful island.
But he was the driver for, I don't know, 150-foot boat or something. Really
Well, our new executive director over here at the museum was on one of those giant boats, and they said
Yeah.
they had a pretty great race with a 5-second difference at the finish and all that. So maybe Charlie was on the other boat.
Well, there are
Huge
quite a few
boats.
of the big boats, and I didn't get the name. I looked up a lot of it, but I didn't know what name.
But it's the best island. It's a French.
The owner of the boat had his own jet, and they flew from Hanscom and near Boston down there.
I
Yeah.
guess if you have a boat like that, you can have a jet too.
Yeah. Charlie wanted to make a phone call on the way back, and then he talked to the pilot. He had somebody there to talk to. The pilot says, "Well, when we get up and get on the satellite, it's $40 a minute."
Yeah,
Charlie said, "I'll wait an hour until after we land."
I will point out their term, when you have a boat like that, is all relative, because when we see you leave the pier in your boat, we say, wouldn't it be nice to have a boat like that?
Well, I live way beyond my means, but I'm intending to try to keep doing that.
I was at a small boat show, and the guy was selling books, and old books, and one of them was the models of Nate Herreshoff. And so I'm like, okay, it's got to be in there. It's got to be in there. I'm flicking changes, and towards the end, yep, there you are. And
My boat, yeah, well, we had a wonderful time with that boat.
she's a beauty.
I've owned it now for, let's see, I bought that boat in, I've owned it for almost 40 years. Wow. And we've been all over Europe. Went to St. Petersburg, Russia. I went to the Greek islands and Caribbean. It's been a wonderful.
And you did a restoration on it when you got it. Right?
Yeah, I had to do quite a lot of work on it. Right? I bought it.
Was it in your family?
No, I bought it from a guy in Daytona Beach who hadn't done much to it. And his problem was that the boat draws 8.5 feet, and the only way he could go sailing was down the canal a long ways at high tide, when the boat wouldn't run aground and you go out sailing. And of course, by the time he got through sailing, came in, it was low tide, so it didn't work for him. So I got the boat for a very low price. But as many boat owners find out, that was just the beginning. I've spent probably 20 times what I paid for it to fix it up. Repeatedly doing things. So it has been a bad business thing, but it's been worth every penny because I've had such a good time with it.
I assume you had the plans to start off with on your restoration, though.
Oh yeah, all that, sure. Yeah.
Now that's a New York 40, right?
That's a New York 40. See, there were quite a few of those built in 1916, which is 100 years ago. We're going to feature that in a Classic Yacht Symposium here in May.
Okay.
But they built 2 of them in 1926.
Were they originally yawls, sloops?
The early ones were gaff rig sloops,
Okay.
because the Marconi rig hadn't yet come in. The Marconi rig began in 1920. So my father redesigned the rig and made them Marconi yawls, and I've got the same rig he had, except I changed the spreaders somewhat. But the mast is the original one, and the mizzen, well, it actually isn't original from that boat, but I bought the spars from another boat that was luckily when I found them.
And they're actually Herreshoff spars.
Yes, they're actually spars from a sister ship.
So you've got your grandfather's boat and your father's rig on it.
Grandfather's boat, my father's revision of it, and my revision of it.
And your blood, sweat, and tears to make it right.
Sailing, yeah, right.
That's impressive.
So it's been a ridiculous exercise, but absolutely great for me. And we in Europe we had 160 people on the boat, and they would fly in Saturday, and others would fly out. And in all those years over there, 4 years, only one person failed to show up. So we made a T-shirt with 160 names on the back. So it was a great time. You must come sail in the summer.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. We don't do it. We gotta do it. Yeah.
Is that a hollow mast?
Yes. And it's glued together. They made it with like a barrel with staves.
Yeah.
And the only hazard is they didn't have very good glues in 1926. The glue was an animal glue. They had to heat it up and put it on. So I'm very precious that mast. You've got to keep it well varnished to keep the water out of that glue.
Yeah.
And a few places let go, but I have a friend that had a great method of using a router to route out the joint and then epoxy in a spline. And with that, we've been able to save that mast. And, I mean, it's so important to have that original mast.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So then what happens Friday?
So Friday, we have Colt State Park Pavilion number 3 rented all day.
Great.
One right off of Popsquash Road, closest,
Okay.
closest. It's kind of remote
I
too.
attended a wedding there last year, which was pretty nice.
I got married there last year at the chapel by the sea
Oh,
in the
yeah.
center.
Yeah.
Yeah, last June
Friends in Bristol
27th.
got married up there, and it was great.
So it's nice because it has the dinghy, the public access beach right there. People can bring their dinghies right up to the beach, tie them up, walk across Popsquash Road into the park. And we're planning on getting some feather banners, the freestanding banners, to
Now,
kind of mark the path.
just
to
to
where
ask this
people-
question, what is the date of this big car festival over there? Do you know that?
No, I don't.
You're talking about the one that, yeah, Mike Burns.
Yeah, Mike Burns is running.
Is involved with. He did some classic car show.
I hope that's a
Last year he
different
said.
weekend, and I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I can check.
But if it isn't, it's not gonna make too much
I
difference.
can look that up, but
Just
thank you
be
for the
traffic,
heads
so.
up. Yeah, I've actually been in contact with Mike Burns about our event and so forth, and we're advertising on his Explore Bristol
Yeah,
site.
so you can check when that is. Right.
So we have a barbecue lunch, catered barbecue lunch,
Good.
between noon and 2.
And we're only gonna be in the state park Friday too.
Yeah.
That's only, but,
And the next page here is a tentative. I'll give you a copy of this one too. This is a tentative schedule I've got out there for seminars, discussions through the day. We're lucky to have contacted the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Oh, really?
And they are
Arnold Greller?
Arnie Geller.
Geller?
They are enthusiastic about supporting our event. They have a trailer that does damage control training. You know, they simulate flooding, leaking pipes, leaking hull. They tow it behind a truck. They just need a water source. They use it to train the fishing boat crews and the Coast Guard small boat crews.
Oh, good.
And they've obtained that for us to do a demonstration. So we're going to have them come in the morning. We've also asked them to give their standard presentation about we're the Coast Guard Auxiliary, this is what we do. I guess they're trying to stand up a new squadron in Newport, Rhode Island. So they're going to talk about if you wanted to join the Coast Guard Auxiliary, this is how you would do it. Along with their normal presentation of PFDs, different types, why you should wear them. The other thing I asked them, because with the Bristol crowd, we're not a bunch of people that just bought our boats this year. So, we don't need the standard, you should carry these flares. We asked them to kind of give us some advanced training topics, more offshore.
Yeah, go beyond the basics.
Right,
Yeah.
so the damage control trainer is one. I asked them to talk about the new VHF DSC radios, because honestly, I've got one and I don't know all the features and how to use it. So I asked them to talk about DSC radios.
So that'd be good to have, yeah.
Yep. They're going to talk about the Coast Guard's new Rescue 21 system, where it kind of triangulates from a VHF, so you can, they ask you to key your mic
So
3
they
times,
locate you.
and they can triangulate you.
Oh, great.
They've actually busted people, misusing the radio,
Open mic,
open mics,
whatever. They
You know,
can
Good,
find-
people-
they
they can
locate
find
just
you.
where they are and go after them.
people
yeah.
misusing channel 16, using profanity, talking bad about the Coast
There are a
Guard.
lot of unfortunate practices in
Yep.
the radios, yeah.
Also talk about EPIRBs and personal locating beacons, AIS, some of the newer technology.
And wearing your life jacket.
Yep.
He's big on the life jackets all the time.
So most of the lectures are aimed around there. We had contacted Jamestown distributors, and originally they were eager about coming in and doing some of the seminars of their products and techniques that they have online. But in the end, when for soliciting sponsorship in 2 different forms, and one of them is if you wanted to sponsor a table at the Friday event. So in conjunction with that, I'm going to send that out to West Marine. I'm going to send it out to Defender. I'm going to send it out to Jamestown.
What is the price of a table?
$100.
It's not a lot, and anything we,
Well, we
anything
can do one without Herreshoff Designs if you'd like.
Okay,
we'd love to.
that would be great.
Actually, anything we probably wouldn't charge you guys, because anything's gonna go back to either your sailing program at the Herreshoff or the East Bay Sailing Club, and anything we make over and above is gonna be
If you
donated.
need to charge us, we're willing to pay $100.
Okay, that's good to. Is that a good price point for spot just having? It's going to be basically a 4 2x6 2x8 table. It could end up even being a picnic table.
Well, yeah, I might ask
Bring your own table.
Peter to come, because right now we're doing yacht brokerage, and
Okay.
might be a way for search for a Bristol yacht for somebody that wants to get one, or
Okay,
want to sell one, you know.
that's good to know, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an all-day event and lots of room, plenty of room there.
The other thing we're doing in this letter is these feather banners that I mentioned to mark the path. And this was Eric's idea to come up with the feather banners.
Well, it's important because when I went over there for that wedding, I've lived in Bristol all my life. I didn't know
It's a
where to
big
go.
place.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
And I was scared to death I was going to be late because I was wandering all around to find it. And, so you need some.
So
Well,
Eric had
well,
the idea.
You were at the chapel by the sea where the little trellises
Well,
and the benches and
I didn't
whatnot.
quite know where it was.
It's right in the middle.
I was ending up driving
Yeah.
frantically all around the whole park, and then
Yeah.
finally saw some people and I went up there, and I got there just in time. But, so you need some arrows.
Yeah, I got sidewalk chalk too. We're gonna mark the way.
But he
Banners.
came up with this. He found these banners. They're 10 feet tall, 2 feet wide. And his idea was, you know, we'll put "Welcome to the Bristol Yachts 50th Reunion," and we'll put the Bristol emblem that we came up with on it. But then he added a corporate logo on the top.
Sponsorship.
It's a sponsorship. So instead of, you know, we're talking candidly here, instead of us buying them out of the registration fees, we're going to propose to all these different organizations that we send this letter out to
You
that
put
they
their
can
name on
sponsor it. We'll put their logo on top of it,
Yeah.
and for $250, we'll arrange to get it. We'll set it up, and we'll make sure it's at every event for all 4 days. So that way, you know, I figure if I send out 100 of these requests and we only get 10 back,
Yep.
10 banners instead of us paying for them, you know, that are provided to us with a little bit of extra to help raise some operating funds.
These guys sound dangerous, don't they?
Well, operating funds, more proceeds to
Right.
be donated to the community.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
And we also have a program we're trying to do for the vets, sail along program for the vets. One of our members and Bristol owners has post-traumatic stress disorder, and he's found a lot of solace in sailing.
That's a great thing to do because they come back with so many troubles, and
They
we
do.
can help them. I should think if they got that problem, going sailing would be the best thing they could do.
He's found a lot of solace in it and wants to help others. And I understand there's a yard here somewhere in Bristol which has a program. I got to get back to the bank. They have not passed on that information. They asked to have them contact them.
I'd like
But
to take some of them sailing.
well, we're also going to have a race around Hog Island too on Saturday. I'm jumping ahead a
Now,
little
is
bit
that
here.
just for Bristol yachts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know, we don't mind beating other people.
Well, I think
If you'd like to join.
I think
You
it
gotta
should
take
be
a serious
Bristol yachts. How many
handicap.
Bristol yachts do you think there'll be?
Oh, we have 13 signed up right now for the race. We have 21 registered to come.
For the
And,
race.
well, no, 21 for the event so far. to
Oh,
come.
21.
If they didn't
boats.
all want to race, so you hope they'd kind of go sailing that day.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to at least double that, if not triple that. So, and according to what Bristol Yacht Club says, and the Greg from the town
Marcelo.
harbor master says that they're going to add moorings. I don't know if we're generating that, but we're trying to get some more transients in because I'm sure we pretty much booked
You'll
everything.
find Greg be very helpful.
He has been, yep.
Great.
Can I send, when I put this letter together for the tables and the feather banners, can I send it to you just to feel free to forward it on to other
Sure.
business contacts in the area?
Absolutely.
I'd appreciate it very
Yeah.
much.
I'll be glad to circulate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, on Friday, I figure we start off with some, around 10 o'clock, with some public service announcements. Roger Ronowski from Bristol Bronze, local company, he remade the plastic builder's plaques that you used to put on the earlier models. He recast them in bronze. He's also recast some Bristol rudder shoes, parts that had become hard to find.
Yeah.
Hollow cleats, the Herreshoff hollow cleats
Yep.
that you guys have, he reproduces all those.
So we've asked him to bring them because he's got some items that specifically interest to Bristol yacht sailors.
Where is his shop?
He's over in Tiverton, Rhode Island. Right when you go over the bridge, you kind of loop around to the right. And
He's
Right
made
underneath
quite
the-
a business out of
He's got a
casting
dory.
fittings.
I think he's got a Cape Dory, He's right under the old bridge, the old Seconic Bridge.
Actually, he's got a Herreshoff.
Oh, he's got the Herreshoff, right?
He's got a wooden Herreshoff.
Does he have an S boat, does he? Or?
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it might be. He's made a lot of fittings for S boats.
Right.
Yeah.
Because those people are very enthusiastic and they like to restore the boats.
Well, he's a big advocate of, this is a Herreshoff cleat because it's hollow.
Yeah.
He pointed that out to me, and I think he points it out several
Well,
times.
they were classic cleats. They made them in about 13 different sizes, and they were all cast with a core, so they were lighter.
Yep. So we have I have asked, I don't have Greg Marsili on here yet. I've been chatting with him this week on email. I do plan to add him in at some point early in the schedule.
I think you should. He's a very good guy.
For him
we
to
were able
welcome.
to hire him to be the harbor master
Yep.
the day after he retired from the Coast Guard, because he used to run the Coast Guard
Yep.
station here. And he's been absolutely fabulous. He gets out and himself and nails the planks on the floats and everything. He's fixed up that whole waterfront, which used to be pretty shabby.
So I figured we'd start with him, if he's available, to welcome everybody to Bristol.
I think it'd be a great gesture to do that.
Kind of lay out here's the concerns, here's the harbor, stay away from this area, here's the rules, don't do this, have fun. So I do plan on adding him in there. We have Nick Cromwell from the East Bay Sailing Foundation, who we're working with. They're going to actually run the race on Saturday for us. So I wanted him to introduce himself, his organization, and just let everybody know, if they haven't heard, there is a race. You can still sign up through the rest of
I
the
have one
day.
suggestion for that race. There's a red buoy at the ferry corner, not too far from the bridge. You should round that, because otherwise, if these boats try to skin around the point at the southeast corner of Hog Island, some of them will go aground.
Ah, come on, we got good charts.
So
No,
you said it's a,
only draw 3.5 feet.
It's a long, long shoal that comes out.
Yeah, I know.
I've run aground there.
Off of
so I
Hog
know
Island,
about it.
yeah.
And so if you include that red buoy over near the ferry side around that, then that'll take care of that problem.
so that it's a red buoy off of Hog Island.
No, the red buoy is off of Bristol Ferry,
Okay.
a little before you get to the bridge. And it's a little ways from the shore.
On the Bristol side?
It's on the Bristol side.
Yeah.
So
My
which,
thought is they round that,
Yeah.
they
okay.
won't get anywhere near this dangerous shoal on the southeast corner of Hog Island.
Yeah, yeah.
So round red buoy off Bristol Point
Yes,
to
exactly.
clear Hog Island. Okay. We got a meeting with Nick. Do we have-
Cromwell.
Nick Cromwell.
And then you
We'll
should
ask him
probably
about
round
that.
either Hog Island Light or the buoy south of that.
Okay.
There's a buoy a little way south of Hog Island Light, which is good.
The Coast Guard, we've actually applied for a special marine event with the Coast Guard, because we were talking to them, and he said, so do you have an application? And I'm like,
And
okay.
Greg has a very good boat for
Okay, so hopefully
he
they'll,
could go out too.
yeah, hopefully they'll provide a couple of boats for us to, and then we had a little small conflict with the ferry possibly, but we're gonna be working that out and talking with them.
Clint, whatever happened to that great big boat you built at one point?
The 72.
Yeah, is that still around somewhere?
It was finally sold to somebody from Texas, and I think they still had it.
In Texas?
Dieter added 10 feet to the stern.
After it was built?
Oh, yeah, way after. Mainly as a locker. Put his dinghies in and fishing
Expensive
gear.
locker, right?
Yeah. But Dieter said it looked better.
So now is it 82 feet instead of 72?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's a big fight.
because
Guest room.
the guy just wanted to do it. But likable guy. He came to Bristol once and gave me a hat that he had.
Too bad they wouldn't come to this event.
I don't know if he's on your list or not.
Why doesn't Dieter ask him to come? There's still time to get here.
Yeah, Dieter might know him, because Dieter was paid, I'm sure, handsomely to add the 10 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll follow up on that.
Come, yeah.
So continuing on Friday, after the public service announcements, the short 15, 30-minute, plan on getting into the Coast Guard Advanced Control, their trailer that they're bringing, that we talked about for the showing what a damage control kit should be for an offshore fiberglass boat. They'll do some simulations. We can't allow people to go up on it, but they will demonstrate different leak techniques and stuff. And that will get us to about noontime when we'll start serving the catered barbecue lunch. During that time, there was some request to have like just a within our group offshore solo sailing experience kind of discussion. We have some sailors that have taken their Bristol yachts across the Atlantic, done some Bermuda racing, have more experience with offshore sailing, how to rig, recommendations for what you should add. Just like any factory boat, it's offshore capable doesn't mean that it's ready to go offshore. It means that it's the right boat to add the equipment to make it an offshore boat. So that sort of discussion, and based on everything else that's going on and trying to fit everything, I actually decided to have that during the time that lunch is being served, because I figured not everybody will go to it, and it's the sort of thing people can go get their lunch and they can bring it back and sit down, and the seminar can go on for the
Well, I would
people
think
that are
even
interested.
people that aren't going to sail like that would like to hear about it.
Yeah, but it's available. If everybody wanted to go to it, they could. But I specifically put that one during the lunchtime. One, to be courteous to the people that are presenting, that they're not presenting and can't eat, and everybody's sitting there eating while they're presenting.
Regarding that, I have a weird invention that you'll be amused about. I met this famous French sailor who had sailed everywhere solo, and suddenly on one trip he was lost at sea. And I bet you it was because he was probably standing at the rail taking a leak and the boat lurched and he plopped overboard. So what I did on my boat before we went transatlantic, I put a tube from the aft deck down through the bottom, and I got a huge funnel which I put into the fitting. And I told the guys, nobody take a leak over the side. You can go back there and hang onto the mizzen in the middle of the boat and use the funnel. So of course the guys took a magic marker and they put on there the funnel of love. But it might have saved somebody's life.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Especially if you're a little seasick and the boat's lurching and you're...
yeah, I understand.
Because a
Number
life
one.
rail really is just something to trip you.
Yep.
Because they only come up to...
And when you're heeled over hard, it's you can't be over the leeward
So
side.
here they were, the arm around the mizzen mast and not near the edge of the boat.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because us coming back from Bermuda, that was a little uncomfortable, and we were on a yawl, so I did have the mizzen mast, but it doesn't quite get you close enough to the rail.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I had
And
an
if
uncle.
somebody goes over in the middle of the night in a gale, you have a lot of trouble to find them and recover them.
I had an uncle in the 50s was in the Air Force and he used to come back from California to Massachusetts, and he had a funnel in the bottom seat with the hose that went through a hole in the floorboard of his car. And he
Really?
yeah.
Same idea.
Okay.
So we figured we'd have that offshore seminar during lunchtime. I would like to try and get LRSE to bring a life raft. I've sent a couple emails to them. I've made some phone calls to them.
I just think they'd love to do that. It's a good way to sell rafts.
Yeah, unlike some companies that could look and
Is that
say,
the
well, we
company in
can't.
Tiverton?
That's the company in Tiverton.
They're a big company. They should do that.
So, unlike some companies that could look and say, well, we're not going to sell enough paint, we're not going to sell enough fasteners. You sell one life raft.
Yeah, exactly.
You made it worthwhile to show up for that. So I'm going to keep working on them, but I haven't heard back from them yet.
One of the boats I believe that's coming is a 41-1, and they've circumnavigated the globe here over the past 10 years. And they luck they're going to be here on time. So I believe there are pictures of the 41-1 on that disc I gave you from Paul Robertson.
So I'm working on adding to that, getting some more static displays through LRSC. Then at 2 o'clock, basically after lunch, the caterers stop serving lunch. We'll get back into the Coast Guard briefs. Basically their presentation, their current topics, as you know, what we discussed, who they are, what they are.
Are you going to have Greg do any of that, or are you going to?
No, we got the public affairs. Got Arnie Geller is in charge of public affairs for
From Boston?
Coast Guard. No, from Providence, Coast
Okay.
Guard Sector Southeast.
Alright.
So he's their coordinator. He works full time for them, but he's also high up in the chain of the local Coast Guard Auxiliary. So he's kind of dual hatted through the Coast Guard Auxiliary, can tie both the auxiliary and the Coast Guard together. So he's, you know, Eric went to a demonstration and it was a Coast Guardsman and,
Middletown of St. John's Berry School, something like that.
and they worked together. An
Oh, they
actual Coast Guard E5, second class bay officer, and, you know, commander. He doesn't call himself commander. He wears commander insignia. But they don't call themselves by rank. Not to insult the Coast Guard officers. And they worked together to do the presentation. It was great. It's actually a Coast Guard asset that they're bringing. So, and then another seminar that, like I alluded to on ESC radios, EPIRBs, Rescue 21. At the end of the day, I had talked to Clinton about this. I think this would be a great opportunity for you guys to sit with the crowd and interact.
Sure.
So I scheduled starting at 3:30.
What you should do, though, is prime 2 or 3 people to ask questions, because when you ask for questions, you need somebody to start it.
Okay.
What,
You know, they should have somebody lined up to ask the first question, because sometimes you ask the questions all silent, but as soon as one person asks a question, then it kind of starts ignoring.
yeah,
Okay. And do you have any favorite questions you want to be asked?
Not really.
Okay.
There's a lot of
You
things
think
they
you
can
think
ask.
about it and get back
You
to
can
us.
ask about the boats, you know, what kind
Okay.
of propellers should be, and
Okay.
ask Glenn how we got them built. I remember one thing I might mention there. Remember the time you and I were going to lunch, and we walked through the shop, and you noticed that they had the deck laminate of a 110 the wrong way around with the hull. And you said to them, "You've got this wrong. Turn that deck around before you fasten it on." So we went to lunch, and we came back, and what they've done is they've not only turned the deck around, they also turned the hull around. So it's still wrong.
I don't remember that.
So we had asked Clinton how he wanted to do that, if he just wanted to do like a one-on-one or if he wanted to do a group forum. We were hoping to get Dieter involved in this one too on Friday, but it looks like they won't be coming until just for the Saturday events. So if you're available,
I'll do whatever you want.
we'd love to have, I mean, the interface between you two is really priceless. I think a lot of our crowd is going to just enjoy, you know, chatting
I
with
don't
you.
know why that is, but
and
you know, one
seeing-
time I did a program with Ted Hood, who didn't say much, you know, but it really went well, and everybody afterwards loved it. So we could probably take care of that.
Sure, yes.
Speaking of Ted Hood, we've been trying to get Ted Hood Jr. to come and represent the Hood family, or
That'd be
somebody
good.
from the Hood family. Haven't gotten too far with that, other than, you know,
Tell him that.
contact him.
We want him to come, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we got, Dieter said the same
Peter
thing.
said the
He
same
was
thing,
like-
yes.
He was a little more direct. You know, tell Ted Jr. That he could come represent his father. Somebody should.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But yeah, the
He
more we
said
look,
if he gets back from the Bermuda race.
He was concerned about it being a conflict, but now he doesn't think he's going to the Bermuda race.
Oh,
But, you know, I've been asking
Maybe
him
it's
for
twist
some,
his arm a little bit.
yeah.
he's a good guy. And I think he's doing well as a broker.
and
We'll keep after him.
his partner at Wellington Yachts there.
Aldolf.
Aldolf.
Adolf.
Adolph's got a
Heffenreffer.
35.5.
That's Adolf Heffenreffer.
Yeah, he's got 35.5.
Oh,
He's
is it?
Carl, I think he's in part of Carl Heffenreffer's family from Little Compton. I don't know, the
Grandson or something?
Yeah, but he's a partner of
Wellington.
Hood.
Wellington.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
In what?
Wellington, they just grabbed the name out of someplace.
Well, no, Adolf would be his great-grandfather.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean the name of the business?
Great-grandfather.
I think so.
And Ted and
German name.
Carl Heffenreffer was Rudolph's brother.
Well, there was a Rudolph the third or fourth, which is, we call him Pete. And Carl and Pete were brothers.
Pete, yeah,
Yeah, Pete was the treasurer of the beer company,
yeah,
and Carl ran the Herreshoff company for 20
yeah,
years.
and Carl lived in George Lum's place for a
Yes,
while.
exactly, which has now been torn down
Yeah,
and
but
replaced.
then he moved down to Little Compton.
And he has that
So,
wonderful estate there.
This could be his grandson, I think.
I would think it would be Carl's grandson, probably.
Yeah, right.
And Adolf is a family name, like Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the three of them work together. Ted and
Why would you name a
Adolf.
kid Adolf?
They what?
Why would you ever name a kid Adolf?
I don't know. I had a cousin named Rudolph, but he was Swedish, and German was not far away.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
So we have that scheduled for 3:30 to 5 o'clock. We figure we'd do that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you guys can go as long as you want or as short as
Well,
you
that's
want.
plenty of time.
Well, I think it depends on what interest people have.
Yeah, how many questions they have.
Yeah.
So, tell a few people it's gonna happen and they need to be ready with questions.
There's a lot of people there
That's the
looking
best
forward
way
to
for us, is to have a question and respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that are very much looking forward to meeting you two, so, and Dieter. So I don't think there's gonna be a problem with people wanting to talk and.
How many boats did you build?
According to the list that somebody sent, it's on the internet. It's
A little over 4,000.
Jack Sherman, 4,400.
Wow.
And I think that's Bristol, and I think that's a
Where's-
little
where's-
light.
So I bought it from the museum, but I haven't fixed it up yet, but I'm ready to do so. Excuse me just a second.
I think it's Bristol 41 from.
Yeah.
No, this is not.
But
Oh, okay.
Hello?
we use a different deck
Yeah.
on that. I think it might have been
Yes, right.
the Hood.
It is.
Yes.
39.
It is, because Halsey
All
took
right.
us down when we first met him
Yeah,
to show us that boat back there.
yeah,
And it's got the fin keel, and the engine is basically in the bilge right where the keel comes out.
yeah.
And the prop comes out the end of the keel. So the hull looks nothing like a Bristol 3940,
Oh, no,
but the deck house absolutely is a Bristol 3940.
yeah. But the hull is Halsey's
The
design.
hull is his.
And that's the one that I won that race I told
Yep.
you about.
Ah,
Wonderful, powerful boat.
And you said you think that you built about 6 of those.
Yes.
And it would
Yeah,
have been,
yes, might have been 4.
it would have been a Bristol 41. Not a 41.1,
Right.
a 41.
Yeah, nothing like the 41-1,
Right.
which was a Hood design.
Right.
But deep keel, a lot of lead,
Yeah.
big sail.
It's a nice looking, it's a nice looking hull.
But that boat really,
That's an offshore racer there.
yeah, yeah, it was great, great fun. I was going to ask you, do you know if there are any owners of the Bristols that might have bought them new originally?
I've actually got a video of the 35.5 being built. And the original owner will, I believe, will be attending our event. He's got a 38.8 right now, but a 35.5 that you bought back just before you guys went under. I understand that you guys bought from a bankruptcy sale or something like that. The Spirit. it was
He
called.
bought it as a new.
He bought it new. He had it built for himself, and I have pictures of it being built with the carpenters in the shop and everything like
And
that.
what's his name?
You've got that on that video. I don't know his name off. I'm dealing with so many
Yeah,
people.
I'll look at it.
Every file has a name attached to it.
Yeah.
And if you need any more information, just let me know. And I've got stats, what year the boats are, and so forth. But every picture should have a person's name attached to it. So if you wanna know what year it was or anything like that, just let me know. But
Chances are a boat that size was sold by a dealer. Not always, you know, if there wasn't a dealer around,
Yeah.
and he came knocking on the door.
he's local in this area, and I believe he had the boat built for himself and had it, and ended up getting in bankruptcy somehow. And you guys bought it back, evidently, just before you in the late '90s, mid '90s. Wow.
This will interest you. I do crazy things, as you know. I met a couple of young guys that used to clean the bottom of my boat. They're both 19. And they came to me and they said, we want to build our own boat. And they bought a very expensive outboard motor. So I said, well, do you know how to design it? No. Well, I said, I wouldn't design your boat because it's not the kind of boat I'm interested in, but if you want, I'll show you how to do it. So I brought them up here and showed them how to make a plan and everything, and the plan is there. So they did pretty well with that, quick learners. And then they said, well, now we want to build a plug for it. I said, you know how to do that? I said, no. And I said, you have a place to build it? No. So, rather foolishly, I suppose, I said, well, you can just do it here. So I got them in the next building, and you ought to take a look at it when we finish here. They built, with a little help from me and quite a lot of guidance, they built a plug, which is a 23-foot planing hull and everything. And then they talked me into letting them make the female mold there, but the tenants I've got in the office next door already are driven crazy just by the smell of paint, so they can't do the laminates. So we're looking for a place to do that. And so I went to Iris, and they've asked Andy Tiska for a place, and he'll probably give us one. And the interesting thing is, Andy first came to Bristol when he was 19 years old and worked for me, and that's one of the reasons he's here. So I'm going to say to Andy when I talk to him about it, we're at it again. You were 19, and now these guys are 19, so we need a place. And the Irish guy just called up, and he said, you need some volunteers to help laminate the boat, because they'd like to have their students have the experience. So it's kind of a crazy thing, but I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old school.
I'll show you the plug when we.
The old school, not chopper gun. You're talking roller, laminate.
Yes,
yeah.
right. Yeah, it'll be a very ordinary laminate, and
Well, not by today's standards.
Polyester or
they're
epoxy?
going to use this vinyl ester, which is similar but smells
Waterproof.
worse than polyester, I guess.
That's what I use. I love Vinester resin.
I think it's advantageous, and it gives them a little more working time too, doesn't it?
Depends how much hardener you add, but
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
A
No, I
little-
love working
We've
with
more
got Tony Nunez here, who worked for Dyer for 40 years doing laminate, so he can guide him, and so it'll be kind of a, well, it makes mistakes, but it'll
Community
probably
project.
get done. Yeah.
Good.
Are there any old Bristol Yacht employees that would come around and help them do this? They're all
Oh,
pretty old, aren't they?
I think they're pretty old now. I met a guy at BJ's up in Seekonk yesterday, and he looked at me and recognized me, and we stopped and talked. He's now retired, working at Roger Williams part-time, but
Would he help these kids?
he's in his 70s, I don't think.
Well, that's young for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but he's,
Was he?
but
was
there
he
are a few guys.
Was he a
that-
laminator?
No, he's a mechanic,
He's a mechanic.
yeah, so he wouldn't,
So we need a laminator. Yeah.
yeah.
If you think of anybody,
Sure, there must be,
there must be.
Number
You had
of-
some young guys working for you there.
yeah, but not lately,
Was it really 50 years ago that you started, or more? You're saying 50th anniversary, right?
Oh, 66 was the incorporation.
I came to Bristol in '57.
So that's 59 years.
Yeah, but that was with the Pearson line.
Right.
In '64, I left and started Bristol with the 27 in '66.
Oh, so it really is 50 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We decided to use the name. Remember Fred Heels?
Sure.
He was our sales manager.
Yeah.
We were sitting around, we were building the little sales stars, and the 27 didn't look like a sales star and bigger, and so he came up with the idea of Bristol Yachts.
Yeah. Well,
That started
Fred
with,
was a good salesman. He was a wild man, but he was a good salesman.
yeah, he was.
So you're looking for people that may have had the boat their entire lives. I will put another notice out, and see if we can come up with somebody, some people.
Yeah.
There's got to be some people into that,
Well,
right?
I've owned my boat since '75. Its paperwork says it's a '70, but it's actually a '68.
We
After
sold
this
a,
research, but-
A '54, Dieter designed it to a guy that kept it in Newport, Peter Gonzalez, and he was a New Yorker, worked on the stock exchange and retired many years ago. But whether he still has it or not, I
I
don't
believe
know.
that boat was just sold and going to the Great Lakes somewhere. My understanding
From
was,
Newport?
yeah, that there's actually some Yacht World videos on that as well. I downloaded whatever I could on for videos as well.
Because he's getting old too.
Dieter made the same request about employees, how many of the employees we were able to contact, and we basically told him we really don't have any means, without having names.
He had a fond memory of
So-
Is there any employee that would then know all the others that still around? Who could collect guys?
Well,
like
if
that?
he were still in Bristol, Sandy Town would have some knowledge, but
Well, maybe they should contact Sandy. He's down in Florida somewhere, and maybe they should talk to Sandy.
but he doesn't have the access to any record sets.
But I mean, if he just could remember some names.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd really
Well,
need
and probably
names
live
and
in Bristol.
we'd really need names and contact information.
Well, if you just had the names, we can always find out where they live. But a great many of them probably live in Bristol.
So it's Sandy
oh yeah.
Town,
Sandy Town.
T-O-N-W-E.
He and his father owned the yard here. We bought it from
His father was a very important foreman of the old Herreshoff company.
Okay.
yeah,
So he sold you the yacht here, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandy was his son and part owner.
And Sandy was a great guy working for you for buying
Well,
stuff. And
his
everything.
father said to me, we made the deal right up there on the waterfront. It was $95,000, half stock and half cash, because the stock was worth $1. A year later, it was worth $15. So they came out
Did
pretty.
they keep it that long?
Oh, sure. Oh,
good.
Sandy hung on to it for a long time.
Oh, that's smart. So they came out okay.
Yeah, but his father said to me, take care of Sanford. And I did.
So his first name is actually Sanford.
Sanford, yeah.
Sanford
And-
Town.
T-O-W-N-E.
Yeah, it's like town, T-O-W-N.
Okay, so,
And, yeah, I don't think it's any,
What?
I don't think there's an E on it.
okay,
I don't think there is.
got it.
No, just T-O-W-N.
I'll see what I can find.
Well, if you can't find him, we can help you find him.
Okay.
But there might be others that I can think of, look back at some of my records. I didn't keep a lot of records.
But if you find a few, maybe some good contact would know the others.
Right.
You know, it would be great to bring workmen in. We did that years ago when the museum started. Carlton organized a party, and we had about 15 of the old employees, and they had a wonderful get-together, and they were all pretty old then. Harold Green and all those
Yeah.
guys.
You remember Joey Da Silva?
What for you?
Yeah, young boy, carpenter, stayed with us till the end.
He must be around.
He was a really good carpenter. His father was a fiberglass guy. He was the boss, a lead man. But Joey,
He must be around then.
yeah,
Joey De Silva, yeah.
Joe De Silva.
If you can't find some names, we can help you find them.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll give that a go through.
okay.
Good.
The last thing I can think of for Friday is in conjunction with the Coast Guard damage control trainer. And I sent Greg this request, and maybe through the town you can point me in the right direction. I figured it might be easy to add a demonstration of lighting off flares, and then which leads into how to employ a fire extinguisher. And
Well,
what
why
I've seen
don't
him-
we contact, we have a new fire chief, and he'd probably like to do it. I don't even remember his name. He just took over, but we met with him at Town Hall a few days ago. He seemed like a good guy.
What I've seen, them do is they have like half a 55-gallon drum. And,
Oh, well, he'd be
with,
probably glad to have some firemen come over and do that.
with a little bit of diesel on the bottom.
Sure.
And you light off the flare. You show people how to light off the flare, wearing your leather gloves, and
Good idea.
how many people actually have ever seen, how you strike a flare?
Do you know where the fire headquarters is on Medicum Avenue?
No, I don't. So,
Well, Medicum Avenue is the road way up. We call it the back road. And they've got a very elaborate fire complex there, which is right where the Veterans Home is.
is it a volunteer fire department or paid, or part
We
paid?
continue to call it a volunteer fire department, but gradually we're paying more and more of them. But
So there is some.
it's a wonderful department. It's been very successful.
Yeah,
Okay. And I would make sure that Greg knows what we're doing anytime.
Well,
we
I
go
think
out
you'd
there.
find the fire department enthusiastic. The chief would pick somebody out and they'd come and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that we're thinking as far as, the two common things, flooding and fire.
Those
Just
are two
show
big
people
risks.
how you
Well,
really
that
actually
flooding and
use
fire
it.
and falling overboard, they're the dangers, yeah.
So that's during the day Friday. We left the evening open so that people can
Enjoy the town.
come to the town, eat dinner in the restaurants,
Yeah.
Free concert.
go to the concert. This way we don't have a whole bunch of dinghies all, going back to their boats at night. Forgot to bring some lights with them type thing. So,
Will
we're
the yacht
using the
club
daylight.
launch run late that night?
It
Well,
might.
well,
But
we're gonna be done by dusk anyways, so that's not
No,
that
but I
late.
mean, it'd be nice if you could get the yacht club to run their launch a little later than usual, so that people who went to dinner could drive back to the hop squash and get out of the boat. I think if you talk to the yacht club,
I think they run after dark, don't they? Like I said, our event is ending at dark, at dusk, so.
Yeah,
it
so
should
what
only
I'm
be
suggesting is you might
8:30.
ask them if they would, under
8:30,
some
yeah.
arrangement,
Yeah.
continue till 10 o'clock or something that night.
Okay, we'll make sure that, that happens.
So that's Friday.
Of course, you guys are welcome to join us for the barbecue,
Yep, good.
and, we got that catered.
Now all these events are, you're free to come and go as you want. We're,
Thank you. I'll come to the barbecue, yeah.
bring you the wife, the wives. Your costs are covered, are included, and we
Nice.
appreciate you being involved in this. So,
It's the least we could do. As they say, my famous line.
so that's Friday, and then there's another sheet here I gave you that actually has the menus. Eric worked out the
Locations.
caterers.
Yeah, so in Cold State, it's the if you go in the entrance right off of Papa Squash, it's the first venue to the left. There'll be signs, hopefully
Yeah,
shouldn't be too difficult to find.
okay.
So that's through to Friday. Now we got Saturday. We already pretty much talked about the race, starting somewhere
10-ish.
around 10.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Thereabouts.
We appreciate your insight on. I'm really glad you mentioned that buoy,
Yeah, I could
Because-
save some people that are coming to grief.
especially people that have
Keep-
never been in this bay at
Keep
all.
in mind, we're primarily a centerboard boat, so My 32 only draws 3.5 feet.
Well, that's a good thing, you put the
My-
centerboard
my
up, but we
feeler-
don't want to have any trouble.
My
with that.
feeler gauge will come up. I can tell the cable will go limp.
So we plan on having the race. There's one other thing that we got requested, and we do have the Coast Guard Auxiliary on board with, is doing the Coast Guard Auxiliary vessel safety inspections. They are willing to bring safety inspectors in here, but they need a place to do it. They don't want to be running out to moorings. They'd like to have pier space that the boats can pull up to, get their inspections done, and then that boat pulls out.
And
the
you
next
asked
pulls in.
Dyer if he'd give you the space here for that?
We have not asked Dyer. This came up this week. I asked Greg about availability of town dock
It'd be-
space.
Yeah, how about that? They didn't appear there.
He's challenged to provide any dock space.
I think
from
we're
the
already
town.
renting just about every foot he's got from people coming in, transients.
Oh, okay.
So we were going to go over to after we're done with you gentlemen, we were going to go over to the museum and see if we could talk to somebody about
Yeah,
one, audio video equipment for these events, and two, the possibility of transient dock space.
try to talk to Bill Lynn, who's the executive director.
Bill,
Okay.
He's a
We
little
talked to
more-
Bill.
He's a little more obliging than Dyer about making
Okay.
exceptions and doing that. Because it'd be nice if they could just offer you a place on the big float down here to have a boat come in, and you could
Exactly.
probably schedule it. It'd come in at
Yep.
some time, and stretch them out only takes about 20 minutes, and then they could go out and another one come
Give
in.
them half-hour blocks.
So see if
The
Bill
extra
Lynn will
10
let you do
minutes
that.
allows them to come in, tie up,
Yeah.
and they can leave the,
And
you know,
you
shut
could
the
put
engine
out
down
a
for 20 minutes.
paper, get people that want it, and
we-
organize it.
we've already started to sign up. Yep.
So
We just need a place to do it.
that's not on the schedule yet, but we are working with that, and I think it's a great public service.
I think Bill Lynn's in today, and he's
Okay.
a very agreeable guy.
So we were gonna ask the Herreshoff Museum about using their pier space
Yeah.
for that.
That's a good idea.
Then the main dinner, Saturday night, we have
Down in our tent, is it?
down in your tent.
Yeah, that's good. Glad to be able to do that, yeah. Hello?
Clint,
Yes.
You're putting a presentation together for Saturday night then, I assume?
Yes,
You need a
right.
projector screen,
Yeah.
projector. Have you seen their setup here? Do they have a project? I mean, I know Liz Marchie told us that they do have a setup, but it's visible enough during the daylight.
Oh, I think so. Charlie spoke here last April on it when he was on the race. He had 300 people in the tent, and he and the navigator shared the stage, mostly Charlie. But I think the projector was something that was here. He had a professional disc provided by their publicity gal,
Nice.
and they had two screens, and it was pretty well done. But I think the projector was something that was here.
Right. My understanding they have one. I just want to make sure that it's going to be adequate during the day.
But the yacht club, he also spoke there last September, and it was a dinner meeting, and he was a feature speaker. And I was talking to him before it started, and I said, "What do you have?" He says, "I just have a memory stick." So he just brought his memory stick, and the yacht club had all of it, and
You put the thumb drive in and.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that worked out fine. That was a single screen, and but it was dark at
Okay.
the dinner.
Okay. Okay.
But here it was not dark,
Uh-huh.
and the sun was out, but it was inside the tent,
Sure.
and it seemed to work fine.
Okay, good. Because I'm putting together a slideshow as well, showing all the models and
Yeah.
and the designers who designed them and so forth and so on.
Well, I have some pictures of most of the boats, and I'm trying to think of the rationale we use for selecting what we might want next,
Excellent.
and choosing the designer to do it. And,
Excellent.
it's not a long thing, but, you know, it's
Okay.
some of the inside things.
Because it probably would be wise for us both to make sure that the quality is there. Because when you blow things up, you know, a picture looks great on the computer or on a phone, it's gonna look like hell when it's blown up. So that's why
Becomes grand,
that's kind of
grainy.
like that's why we stopped sending you pictures, because the small stuff just that you email just isn't big enough. What you have there should be, what I gave you should be big enough files, most of it.
Yeah,
You know, but like I say, it might be wise for both of us to try out prior to the event to make sure that it's visible
On the big screen,
on a big screen.
without
you know?
being too grainy.
yeah. I don't know, where I can try it out.
Well, I'm thinking right here we use their equipment. I'll see if I can set that up a week or two prior to the event,
Yeah, okay,
and we'll come in and see if,
good idea.
or maybe they'll have another event with the screen already set up, and maybe we can sneak in just before their event and try it actually in the tent, something
Well,
like
see
that.
what they say, and,
Yeah.
you know,
a good
I'll
idea.
be, in town, you're not too far away.
No, Cumberland, nothing in Rhode Island's that far away.
You're the other Rhode Island.
Yes.
No problem.
Well, maybe what we should do, Clint, is I could tell about the old Herreshoff company, and you could tell about your company.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be a good combination?
It's gonna be it says formal dinner, but we're all coming off of a boat, so it's not gonna be that formal.
But it's good to have a program.
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
it's gonna be boat shorts and a polo shirt type.
Yeah,
Sure.
and a
Well,
program.
that's the best thing that time of year, you know.
Yeah.
And if it's nice weather, it's a beautiful spot down there.
Yeah. We figured somehow we'd like to get a tribute to Ted Hood. And,
Yep.
I mean, if we end up putting something together real short, just describing he was born, you know, he did this from here, put some pictures up. We were hoping the family or somebody else that already has something that they put together could
I'll
provide
tell you
that.
one thing about Ted Hood, which I told him. I was his navigator when he was a skipper in America's Cup race.
You were.
And you may remember Ted was always kind of a little hard to extract his opinion about something.
Yeah,
So when we're on the boat ready to go in America's Cup race, I'd say to Ted, now what do you think, Ted? Would it be a good idea to do this? And he'd say, well, I don't know, and maybe it's good, I'm not quite sure and everything. So years later, at some party, 20 years later, I said to Ted, I said, I figured out something about you that you may not even know. He said, what's that? I said, when you were doing this about yes or no or something really, I figured out that if you ended up this way, it was yes, and if you ended up this way, it was no. He said, is that right? Is that right? I said, yes it is. So I should tell them that.
That would be great. Oh,
you know how we got together with Ted was that one of our dealers that ran the Northrop and Johnson office in Marblehead, who was a Pearson dealer, and then when they started Bristol, he says, oh, you want to get Ted Hood, talk to him. And so he brought Ted down to Bristol, and that's how I met. His name was Dick Ward, and he was a old-time sailor from World War II. He was in the Coast Guard patrolling the coast of Maine, and then he became a dealer for Northrop and Johnson
Oh yeah.
and for us, and he introduced us to Ted. I'd never met him before,
Yeah. Ted was a great guy. And,
but he's hard to get opinions from.
you remember that too, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sure.
We're hoping.
I knew his father before him, not before him, as well as him.
Did you?
Yeah, his dad came down on occasion.
Well, his father was a very intelligent, able guy, and he was able to improve the sailcloth greatly, which was one of the reasons of Ted's success in sailmaking.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
They
important.
called him the professor.
Professor. Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't really, but it was a nickname. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
the
Right.
father or Ted?
The father.
Ted's father. Yeah.
His father was a brilliant guy, actually.
Yeah.
I was reading up on Ted Hood. and I was reading a story about when he designed and built the Robin, and he actually raced it, and they pointed out that Ted designed the boat, built the boat, designed the cloth, built his own sails from cloth that his company weaved. And I was like, this guy could go into a forest with a flock of sheep and come out with a boat.
All except in one case. It was remarkable that he did so much and he did it so well. And for a guy that was so low key, it was amazing how much he did. But you know, in the America's Cup, whether it was Charlie Morgan or Ted Hood or anybody that tried to do everything to be the syndicate head, raise the money, design the boat, build the boat, and race it, nobody's ever been able to do everything. And after we won the America's Cup in 1974 with the Courageous, he came out with a boat 3 years later, and he didn't make it.
It's Ted Turner that beat him, right?
Well, actually, I was the tactician of the Enterprise, and we beat him.
Okay.
Because we got them thrown out before we were thrown out.
Okay.
We were thrown out, and Ted Turner, as you say, won the cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ted had a brother, two boys.
I
from
never
the
knew
first-
his brother much.
But I understand he did very, very well. Working in the automotive industry.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I think he built some sort of fabric in a mill in New England.
Okay.
Ted Hood got a lot of good publicity in the marine industry, but there was that other brother that was very, very successful.
With your interests, I want to recommend to you, I'm just reading a book called Elon Musk.
What is?
Elon Musk. He's the SpaceX and Tesla guy. Electric cars.
Yeah.
The book is fabulous. You must get it at Barnes & Noble somewhere. Elon Musk. About how he has done all these things. Because now he's got SpaceX, they want to go to Mars. Tesla cars, which is so much better than anybody else's electric car.
Yeah.
He's going to have the best solar cells, and he's building $1 billion factory to make batteries.
Oh, I didn't know about the solar cells or the batteries.
Yeah, that's
Batteries make sense. If
well,
you
batteries
build
are key.
electric
You know,
cars.
batteries in a Tesla car weigh 1,000 pounds,
Yeah.
and they're trying like crazy to make them better and better.
Yeah.
But the cars are terrific. I drove one of them.
Oh.
I was out in California. We flew into LAX, and his facility, SpaceX and Tesla,
Yeah, they're all
are right there. So we drove by, and I saw it. It's
He
right
bought
next
an old
to.
Ford assembly building.
It's
in,
right next to a Lowe's Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, I wonder how many times Elon is, hey, run out to Lowe's and get a couple of bolts. And
Nobody else has ever been able to, in the many last decades, to start up and build cars.
Yeah.
You know, there was that crazy guy that had a sports car and everything, and they all
DeLorean.
failed up. But he does it. And
Andy's not going to
I've always thought
government
it was
subsidies.
crazy to build cars with electric power and put a gasoline engine in with it. And he doesn't have any engine at all.
Nope.
And you know, he's building, doing something the government should have done. He's building the charging stations all over the country.
Oh,
And
yeah,
if you
okay.
own a Tesla car and you're taking a trip across country, you can go and plug in and have your dinner near there, and he doesn't charge you for the power.
Well, it's a business
So the
decision.
car costs you over $100,000, but once you get it, you don't have to get an oil change, you don't have to get anything
Yeah.
else in the garage, and you don't have to buy any fuel.
Nice.
Amazing. So you enjoyed that book tremendously.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
So we're looking at having a group photo before the dinner actually starts. So we're asking people to start showing up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Have you got a photographer?
No. Yes. No. Maybe.
It's pretty easy with these
Well,
things.
Yeah.
our musician, the veteran I was telling you about, Sean, which is a liverboard on his 35.5, is actually going to come and play some music for us. He does acoustic guitar and harmonica, and we've got
That's
some.
important to have that. It just makes the dinner much nicer.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure we're going to have it here at the dinner, but the barbecue. We haven't got a schedule quite set for that, but he's got some
You might have him come do a little something
yeah
at the cocktail
some
hour.
unique songs about the Bristol Sailor. What do we do with the Bristol Sailor? And
That's good.
his brother is a photographer. He's coming on the boat with him, so
He can take the pictures.
possibly working on him for doing the photography.
You know, I
That's-
used to
And then these.
get nice cameras and take pictures of everything. I just use the
Cell
cell
phone.
phone now.
Phone.
The pictures come out beautiful.
We're going to be asking our audience, our participants, to take pictures, video, and then submit them afterwards. Because,
And
like
they
you
all
say,
have these, iPhones.
everybody's got the smartphones. You know, it's either, instead of having somebody dedicated to do it, you probably get some more intimate shots
Sure.
and so forth. So I think we got the photography covered as far as. I have a drone too. Possibly we could take a picture, a big group picture with too, a toy drone,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of, sort of.
Yeah,
But
do that.
that might be an option too. So
Yeah, we
we'll
weren't
see.
gonna pay a photographer.
You don't need
Cut
to-
down
We're on a fairly tight budget.
But if you could, if it's a nice day, a nice
Yeah.
evening, you take a drone picture.
Yeah,
Really
nice
good.
evening with no wind. Yeah, right. No,
Who has the drone down the Perry?
It's
Dual?
Halsey Fulton.
Fulton.
And you know, when I last ran for office, I sent out a postcard with a beautiful picture of Bristol. And we did it with his drone. We took it out on my powerboat, the Bubble, and he had a video on the boat. The drone sat on the after deck and it took off and went up in the air. And you could show in the video on the after deck what the drone was seeing. And it looked pretty nice. And I said, but you know, it'd be nice if it was up higher and you could see Mount Hope Bay in the background. He said, no problem. So he had to go up another 1,000 feet or something. And then the picture was just right. He took it. It was all fine.
nice.
And then he had the drone come back down, and a friend of mine stood in the after part of the boat, and the drone came right down, he grabbed a hold of it, and it was all done. But later, he lost the drone,
Oh, boy.
not with my project,
Yeah.
because these drones can be programmed, if they get low on electricity, to come back where they started and land. So if you started from and things go, it gets low, it'll just on its own come back and land where it started. But that doesn't work with your
work
remote because it came back and it went in the water and sank and you lost it.
Never
Yeah,
realized.
it's funny because the phones, even the waterproof cases, yeah, it's a waterproof case, but they don't float.
Well, his
It might have
sank
been,
and,
it might have been a
you find
waterproof drone, but it still
they
sank.
expensive?
I think they were like $2,500.
Yeah. Well, the one
But
I
he
got.
uses it commercially.
But he's got a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. I've seen people do the drones off the boat,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
never
yeah.
thought about, the boat ain't where
Is
it
he
was.
related to you?
Well, he is, but the name Halsey is actually separate. His grandfather was Halsey DeWolf, who I'm related to, but his name did not come from the same source as mine. See, my name is normally a last name,
Mhm.
but this came from my maternal grandfather, and Halsey DeWolf got it from some other reason. So this Halsey Fulton is his grandson, and I'm the grandson of my grandfather, Halsey Chase.
Uh-huh.
So dinner. Probably start dinner around 5.
Yeah, I think 5.
Who would they get to be the caterer?
We got the picnic, the
Picnic
company picnic. Oh, they're out of Narragansett,
Yeah, I don't know.
and they have done here before
Oh,
at the
good.
tent,
That'd be good.
and they're gonna do a classic clam boil on the beach. They're gonna be cooking on the
Clam
beach
bake?
here. Yep, and with lobster.
Oh, that's the best
And,
thing. How many you hope to have at the dinner?
I hope to be able to maximize what they have over here, although sounding like 400 is not capable. I've actually done a layout myself, and 400 is very tight.
A little more the better, 'cause you know it's
Yeah.
nice weather like that for some tables outside the tent. If it
Um,
doesn't rain.
it's not gonna rain.
It's not
The
gonna rain.
whole 4 days, it's gonna be beautiful.
Well, that's the best time of the year to have
Yeah,
a party.
better.
and,
Yeah,
that's a nice thing.
Yeah, no, they're a very capable company,
Now, try
and
to, don't turn anybody away, have them find a way.
what's that?
Don't turn anybody away.
I don't think we're gonna.
Make sure you can accommodate whoever wants to come.
Right.
Yeah.
We would like to. We'll see how many. Don't know yet. Of course, everybody's waiting for the last moment to sign up, so.
If we end up with, and this is just a question for Eric, if we end up with extra capacity, at some point, would we want to maybe open it up to the local public? Anybody that might just want to attend the clam bake?
Well, at the very moment, it's open to anybody who wants to come. They just gotta sign up in advance, that's all.
Yep.
I mean, we will probably stretch the sign up till the week before. Cause the caterers obviously only need a short notice.
Right.
But we have some merchandise, so we have a burgee and some plaques and t-shirts and polo shirts and that sort of stuff, but that takes time to make, so we've got a 3-week prior to the event cutoff on those.
Yeah.
But I'm now thinking that we should probably extend this sign up right up almost the event.
Do you think there'd be some interest in the community, people that aren't necessarily attending the events or any of the
I think
other?
there would be, but you can't wait till too near the last minute. to
No.
get- But the people like Jim Dollins that runs the Harbor Commission and all, they'd love to come.
Okay.
So let us know if you wanna have some help in promoting.
Absolutely, I have some flyers with us. I can give you. You can
Yeah.
feel free to hand them out. We've been trying to post what we can around. We've got, like I say, we're on the Explore Bristol site. Advertising.
Well, for instance, you could put the flyers at the Wolf Inn where people come to dinner there, and those are the kind of people that would find this attractive probably.
Yep, we'll probably start canvassing the area again, putting up flyers.
You know,
and so
we
forth.
do a clam bake when we have our regatta in August, and it's hugely popular.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. That's,
So
I
we'll
didn't think
we'll
about.
put together some sort of a schedule for Saturday.
We figured we'd have you, Dieter had asked not to speak directly to the crowd. He'd be more comfortable just informally chatting. We'd introduce him and,
Well, if he's at the dinner,
yep,
and a question comes to Clint that needs Dieter, you can call him up.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, to answer a question, he'd probably be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah.
that's why I figured, we'd, basically have a master ceremonies and welcome everybody to the ceremony and then introduce one of you, and that one can introduce the next one, can
And
introduce
why
the
don't
next
you let
one.
Ted Hood Jr. say a few things?
Would love to
If
he
he's there,
comes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we're hoping maybe to get some video or pictures out of him as well, out of the family of Ted. Would be nice.
That's what,
But
that's what we were saying. It's
he's probably
somehow we are gonna pay tribute to Ted Hood Jr. that night.
It's good to have
Ted
a
Hood.
program. And one thing about the program, though, you need to start it before any of them get up to leave. I mean, you gotta start it before the dessert, if
Right.
there is any dessert.
there is.
Okay,
Don't wait too long.
Okay.
okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
I just say that because I've made every mistake can be made, and that's when you could.
It's gonna be buffet style, so we'll make sure you guys get fed first, and then while the rest of our eating, you guys can start
Right.
talking.
It was that kind of bake early.
Clinton told us that you're a professional at this, so any advice you have how to run a formal?
Well, we've run a lot of events around here, and in the early days, half of them went wrong, so I kind of know what not to do.
Yeah, I figure if we serve the head table, and we haven't figured out how we're gonna set it up, but, a head table makes sense, everybody could sit there and look at you and go, oh, that's cool, that's all interesting.
Not a bad idea.
Oh,
If we feed you first, and you get done eating, there's no reason that we can't start the presentation while people are still finishing up, based on.
Well, clam bake's kind of messy, so you gotta let them get through the mess part, but before, much more time goes by before there's any coffee or anything, get it going, I think.
And you know how long it takes to take lobster, so people could spend 2 hours just picking the little pieces out of the little legs, so.
and
And I
Halsey,
wouldn't wanna hold up the presentation
if
for.
your wife will be coming,
I don't have a wife.
don't have one. Okay. We don't know how to approach that subject, so okay.
Will you be bringing a guest in any
Well,
manner?
it's possible.
All right.
You want us to set you up with somebody, or?
Let's see. I might bring a lady, we'll see.
Okay,
Okay.
let us know. And if you could provide a name too, we'd appreciate
Sure.
it.
Right.
Caroline,
Oh, yeah,
You there?
she'll be there.
yeah.
Dieter's
Uh,
How's she
Mark
doing?
Archibald.
Fine?
Her knees, she's had a problem for a few months. She's